months, and we're blessed with a chest cold open. Good morning, all you beautiful spikelings. The leader of our definitely not a cult, the Shark Typhoon, and I welcome you to the most... Wait, are you the leader of chest? Am I the leader? Welcome to the blessed spindle of Clothis. Praise Clothis. As you know, Clothis grants a superior fate to those who work for it, and today we're going to work for it with Boros, Golos, Lotus Field, and Modern, so be sure to do your work for Clothis too. Sub, like, follow, hit the bell icon, support my sponsors, follow me on Twitter, most importantly, praise Clothis. Sponsors being Channel Fireball, TCG player, Channel Fireball player, TC Channel Fireball player. I keep emailing them new ideas for the name, and they won't listen to me at all. So we're playing some more of this Boros Lotus Field brew that we were playing a lot of last Monday. We had a really good record with it. At least that's how I how I remember it. We had a good win rate with it. Similar, of course, to the Jeskai Lotus Field deck, kind of prioritizing ramp a bit more by playing Cleansing Wildfire and getting to be in on Ephemerate to go with your Evoke Incarnations instead of Chalice of the Void. And then you have a Wall of Omens and Golos as extra Ephemerate hits as well. Golos in particular is really, really powerful when you have all these Lotus Fields in your deck to just go crazy with the ramp. You have Cascading Cataracts to activate it. And then if you're really lucky, you can spin into your Emrakul the Aeons Torn. And you also have Nahiri to either loot your Emrakul away or throw an Emrakul at your opponent. And sometimes you just like get to 15 mana and cast the card. So the general idea is that you're going to be spending time ramping and controlling the board with Solitude, Grief, Fury, Ephemerate, and then trying to win the game with one of these 9 cards. And all of these cards kind of revolve around ending the game with your Emrakul. At least that's been the experience so far. This deck has been a ton of fun. Didn't make too many changes, but a good win rate last time. I think I cut the Boil in the sideboard for the second Charmaw. Just been liking the deck a lot. Yeah. If you target Flagstones or Cascading Cataracts with Wildfire, you get to ramp. No artifact duels in this deck though. Just the 5 targets for Wildfire on yourself here. It's definitely nice that the Cascading Cataracts that goes with Golos also goes with your Wildfire. A little small overlapping synergy there. You just need more white mana because you have the marches. Okay, we'll keep this. Maybe better to keep Sacred Foundry over the second Inspiring Vantage because I'm gonna get to 4 mana. I'm gonna cast Wildfire my Cataracts on turn 2, but Blood Sun does make Vantage enter untapped. Starman, thank you for the 7 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, I've tried Brought Back plus Lotus Field. The big issue with playing Brought Back plus Lotus Field is that when you play Lotus Field Blood Sun, you don't want to play any fetch lands in your deck, and having fetch lands is really important for Brought Back. And I don't think there's a really good way to reconcile that. Wooded Foothills, Basic Forest, probably... Oh. It's Ponza? So I could prioritize getting a... Oh. Naming blue. Okay. Well, I guess I'll just Wildfire their Forest, then. Gotta be Song of Creation? Yeah, Naming Blue is probably Song of Creation. I agree. How many basics does Song of Creation play? I have no idea. 2 or 3. Yes. Can somebody pull up a list for me, or we'll see. Just for good stuff. With the name Blue with Sprawl, yeah, I'd go back and exclamation point deck canister. 1 or 2 forests. If it's 2 forests, then we really need to know. So. On. Thank you, Examiner. 2 forest. Okay, well, I'm definitely hitting the stopping ground with second Wildfire. Pretty lucky for them to draw 2 Utopia Sprawls. They draw double Wildfire. And they drew a basic forest. So if they really are on just 1 basic forest, this is just gonna be, you know, double Stone Rain draw card. Into concede. Concede to conceal info. Okay, the chalices should be pretty good here. How good is Rest in Peace? It stops the endurance looping. It stops flashback of Strikey Ridge, which almost doesn't matter at all. Stops my own flagstones. Definitely want the wear tears. Then I guess I'm just maybe completely off Solitude Fury. Any like cheeky creatures in the sideboard? Not really. There's a Sky Turtle. I guess there are the Endurances. Prismatic Ending hits. Utopia Sprawl, which is kind of nice. Charmaw is probably way too slow. I guess I could just play 2 Ephemerates for the Wall of Omens Golos. Maybe 1 Rest in Peace. Which is probably very good. I don't know. I don't know how important just shutting off Endurance Loop is. It's very important. I feel like it's super beatable, especially with like Besage using the stuff in the deck. Chalice isn't always that good. I think Chalice is. I definitely want all 4 in the matchup. You know. I think Chalice on 1 and 0 are both like you're happy enough to bring them in. It keeps them from decking themselves. I mean, I know what it does in the deck, but I also think it's not that hard to win through. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll play 2 Rest in Peace. I mean, the Ephemerates are also really bad. I'm featured on the New Tolarian College video. Can you post a link? I haven't announced anything, but I don't think we need to. Can you post a link? Because I definitely haven't recorded anything. So okay, I should play the combo Unfazed and Chalice on 0. Yeah, I mean, I think it's still like okay to bring in. And Chalice on 1 is good. It's not 2 mana to win the game, but I think it's, you know, you're happy to have it.
Pause. A great.
Oh, this is nice.
Trick to start getting a feel for the gameplay and strategy of the deck you're watching is to periodically pause the video that you're watching when it's the content creator's turn, examine the board.
Okay, that's cool. Then I guess I'm not announcing any collab with the professor. Not yet, at least. That was nice of him to do, for sure. Yeah, the collab would be insane. It would be insane, for sure. But I'm just not announcing it right now. Just not announcing it right now. You have another Utopia Sprawl? Okay, I have another Cleansing Wildfire. 5-card hand over there. I could Wear Tear this. I think saving... Oh, dude, if I Chalice on 1, I turn off my own Wear Tear. I could Fuse. I could Fuse, kill my own Chalice, kill the Wear Tear. Yeah, he even posted a league where I'm 4-0. It's really nice of him.
Pause. A great.
So what am I playing? I'm playing... Oh, I probably lose this game, though. And look how I look goofy. I mean, I always look kind of goofy. My least favorite part of streaming...
To start getting a feel for the game.
Or one of my least favorite parts is when looking at YouTube videos and Twitch clips and blah, 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 and I just look like this. I just look like... Oh, hold on, sorry. But you know what I mean? I'm just... There's nothing to be done, I think. That's what I look like. I know, but... At least when you take pictures of yourself, you get to be like a little more flattering than that. Okay, so they seem to not have another land. I'm gonna switch to be a VTuber again. Why do we Chalice on 0? Chalice on 1 is way better against them than Chalice on 0, I think. I think with them missing a land drop, I just want a Wildfire. Yeah, that is a weird target. That's actually kind of important. Yeah, I did do a VTubing stream as a channel point redemption one time. It was fun. It was expensive, though. Or, it wasn't super expensive, but like I had to pay like $25 for a one-day license, and keeping the license was going to be like $150 for a year or something. either time consuming or financially consuming. Okay, let's go. I think Prismatic Ending, the Treasure, and then Chalice in one. Morning, Driz. Yeah, the Shark stream was a lot of fun. I had a good time. What I have to buy a license for? I can't remember the name of the software, but it was like they had like a bunch of preset VTubing avatars. It was like a really like basic one. Okay, so next turn I can go Golos for Flagstones, play another Lotus Field, or just Golos for Cataracts. I think with Chalice in one, I don't need to be too afraid of them comboing next turn. Ooh, well, really happy to draw that. It's nuts. I haven't been drawing too many Bloodsuns this stream so far. They gonna kill this in response? I feel like they would want to be killing the Chalice. I can spin Golos next turn, assuming we get a next turn. I have 2 Emrakuls in the deck now. All 4 Lotus Fields in play. 1 mana short of hardcast Aeons Torn next turn. Could hardcast Promised End. Then 23 months. Thank you, thank you. I guess I make white like this. I love that this deck can double spin Golos, which is really exciting. Okay, so let's go Wall of Omens into Valakut Awakening. Oh, the Wildfire is interesting. I probably just spin again, though. There we go. There we go. Finally a good hit, huh? That is always really, really fun. Again, Ben, thank you for the 23 months. Spinning into Emrakul is freaking sweet. I saw you played with it, that's right. I saw a little bit of that stream. Looks like a fun deck. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand. We're on the play. We've turned to Wildfire, our own Flagstones. Going to play Vantage on turn 1 because it's entering tapped if I don't. How do you cast the Emmy? You get so like being able to ephemerate your Golos lets you put all your Lotus Fields in play. That's the way to hardcast it. But you also can spin into it with Golos, and then Nahiri plus Emrakul is a classic combo where you can -8 to attack with your Emrakul. And then you can +2 your Nahiri to discard your Emrakul and shuffle it back into your deck. Okay, Shadow Spear, Midnight Citadel. Fury is very good against Affinity usually. Definitely not going to just Fury a Midnight. Likely to be hardcasting these these incarnations. So again, like a huge chunk of your late game. Oh, weird that they didn't play Drum on turn 1. Usually you would want to go Drum, 0 drop, 1 drop. I wonder what variant they're on. It'd be cool to see if they're playing against the mono blue one I like to play, but could be like really any of them. 6 cards in their hand. Looks like they have some 0 drops if they're pausing here. Yeah, Nahiri Emrakul is really, really cool for sure. Yeah, I guess they must have just drawn the Drum for turn. Bloodsun is nice to turn off any Urza Sagas. And then I guess I definitely don't mind Valakut Awakening either. Get rid of those Flagstones at the very least. Gonna start hardcasting some Incarnations. Giovanni, thank you for the 4 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, it kind of looks like the mono blue. It's at least very similar to the mono blue list I've been playing. Don't think I'm supposed to evoke Solitude to kill the Urza right now. Yeah, they must have just drawn the Drum. Alright, let me just main phase Solitude. Yeah, Bloodstone does turn off the Flagstone's dice trigger. It's definitely some anti-synergy, but you also have Valakut Awakening to shuffle them away, and Nahiri to discard them. And then you just have to play Flagstones in your Lotus Field deck. Don't always have the luxury of having Bloodstone in play. 6 cards in opponent's hand. Plays Island for turn. Second Urza. It's almost like they drew 6 extra cards or something. Main phase Fury on Urza, so you have Solitude pitch available. I was thinking that Solitude being able, especially because I have only 1 Solitude and 2 Fury, two Solitudes, 1 Fury, and Solitude being able to clean up some of the smaller creatures. I wanted to just Solitude first. Sorry for saying Solitude 1,000 times. I'm gonna die to these constructs. I'm so close to being able to. Yeah, I guess now I'm just casting the Fury. Cast the Fury. I have to kill Urza still. And then maybe I'm double blocking this. Maybe I'm chump blocking this with a Solitude. Snakeskin, 5 months. Thank you. Valakut, hope for Ephemerate. I mean, I think that that's worse than just hard casting an Incarnation this turn. Because Ephemerate, like, rebuys a Solitude, right? But we could just, like, guarantee a Solitude or Fury by casting here. At some point, we can modify the artifact land. It's not indestructible. Yeah, but they just like have plenty of islands. It looks like they're playing my. Once we see, come on, we never drew this lot. We were playing the mono blue this week. We finally returned to the affinity deck this week. Maybe the list is a little different. They kind of all are. Nobody plays the exact same affinity deck. But this is what I've been playing. 4 Spellbomb, 4 Hard Evidence. I haven't seen either of those cards, I guess. I have to chump block here. I mean, if I draw Ephemerate, we have a chance. We're taking 11, getting 3 at 4 life. I have to draw Ephemerate. So I'm awakening away everything but Solitude. So I can either try to Valakut Awakening into land plus Ephemerate, or I can cast Cleansing Wildfire. I think it's better to Awakening. I have 4 looks at an Ephemerate, and then one of the other 3 has to be a land. Hype, thank you for the 9 months, appreciate you. Sacred Wildfire, I think this is better, it's just way more looks. I found the land, didn't find the Ephemerate, but I can Fury the Urza, Solitude this, chump block here, still die. Okay, game 2. Great draw. Okay, I'm gonna bring in the extra Prismatic Endings, the 3 copies of Wear Tear, and then Chalice is kind of an interesting one. I should play Chalice, right? If they're playing my list, they have 19 1-drops. Losing out on the Ephemerates are kind of bad, but usually you're gonna bring in. You can also Chalice on 0 on the play. But usually you want to choose between either Chalice or Ephemerate in these kinds of matchups. And the Incarnations are going to be fine by themselves. So I think without the Ephemerates and then being on this version that has like too many more big creatures, they don't play like Frogmite. I can cut the Wall of Omens. Probably can cut the 4th copy of Golos, and then either like maybe 4th Wildfire. That's probably fine. And then maybe we reevaluate on the draw. Chalice is probably still good on the draw, but it's way, way better on the play. Again, we didn't see, Hard Evidence, Moonsnare, or Aether Spellbomb. So they really could be on a different version. Or the Consulate Dreadnought. I think that this is probably a keep. Yeah, I think it's a keep. Kind of a slower hand. We do have an ending, have lands, have Flagstones if we draw Wildfire. But it also keeps 7. Okay, not a March of Otherworldly Light or Wear Tear. Springleaf Drum into 0-drop. But if I Prismatic Ending this Springleaf Drum, then there's a good chance that they can't make Saga tokens. Ah, it is my version, probably. Cool, cool, cool. I like this deck a lot. We're playing it earlier this week. I love the Hard Evidence. Okay, so they're not going to be able to make a Saga token this turn. If they have a Moonsnare or a Springleaf Drum plus land in 2 of their 4 cards, they can make 1 Saga token. Colin, 19 months, thank you. Yeah, this is a cool Cataracts art. I think this is maybe, I don't know what it's from. I know it's a promo. I don't know if they exist in paper or not. I don't think I've ever seen one in paper. Not only did they not have a Springleaf Drum, they don't have another land. And that gets a Blood Sun, kill their Saga, so they don't even get a Springleaf Drum. Oh, I guess I'm not actually playing Chalice on 0 here ever. Okay. Swingy game. Okay, and then, I don't know, Chalice on the draw seems so much worse. They do have a ton of 1-drops, though. But I could definitely see, like, Ephemerate, Fury, Solitude being, like, way more important on the draw. I think that's kind of what my gut is telling me. It's close. Definitely close. There's a really good chance their hand could just be like... Their hand is very likely to be out of 1-drops by their turn 2, though. Obviously, like, we get to stop their top decks, but we're definitely more scared of their top decking their payoffs rather than their 1-drops, right? Colin, 19 months. Frost with a 2-pack. That's for deck tech. You can post the link in the chat. It shuts off their Urza engine. I don't know if that's true. Like, it shuts them off from, like, spinning Urza into a 1-drop. I don't know if that's where we want to be. This hand is mediocre. We have Ending, we have Lotus Field, Flagstones. I think I'm going to keep and hope that I draw something to do in the first 2 turns on the draw. So we have, like, 2 or 3 looks. And then we have the ramp with the Lotus Field. Nahiri can stop us from flooding potentially. Why is Solitude good in blue-white, but Sun Scour isn't? Is Sun Scour to destroy all creatures card? Because, like, I mean, pitching a 3rd card is usually, like, it's just so much more. Solitude can also be hardcast a lot easier. Okay, turn 1 Crab. Ooh, it's a good draw. I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Clue token. Deny their affinity a little bit. I want to use my mana too. Another Eldritch Evolution deck, huh? I don't know that I like Eldritch Evolution here. Maybe it's okay. Oh, another crab. Hold on, let me take this turn. Because I feel like, I don't know that I like the idea of sacking your mana dorks to grab Omnath, Cavalier Fame, and then Green Warden if you sack one of your other cards. I don't know, that's interesting. Maybe you want to play the full 4 Tangled Florhedron to make the evolutions better. I also feel like I really want to play the 4th Growth Spiral, and I feel like I'd want to play the 4th Genesis Ultimatum. And so maybe just doing that over the Eldritch Evolutions is correct, despite the evolutions looking okay. They might just not be the best things to be on. Let me discard a field here, so I can hardcast Fury next turn. Punished a little bit by drawing the Blood Sun. It's probably going to be fine. Yeah, I kind of feel like I would like to just move away from the ultimatum, like cut the Green Warden, away from the evolution, cut the Green Warden, play the 4th ultimatum, play the 4th Growth Spiral, and then play the 4th or the 3rd Florhedron. I guess if you're cutting the evolutions, you don't need to do that. Sorry. So maybe instead play, maybe just max out on Aldrin's Epiphanies and also cut the Cavalier Flame. Just be like Mono 4 of, best card to ramp into. That actually kind of sounds the best to me. Dude. They're getting in there. You can Nahiri and exile land? Yeah, we could minus the exile the land. I'm not sure if that's better than just plussing and looting away my, like, kind of land-heavy draw, though. But chat always wants you to destroy the lands, no matter what. I guess drawing Wear Tear. And I have a really high curve. I really like, you know, a lot of gas for next turn. I'm down. Yeah, you mess with the Crabbo, you get the Stabbo. I feel like plussing that last turn though. Cyber looks pretty good. I like Healer of the Glade a lot. I don't know if people are playing Lotus Field again. You might be able to cut the Damping Sphere. Like, I respect the deck for sure, but I also feel like nobody plays it, so you maybe don't need to. Okay, I could minus on the Crab. I think I'll plus instead. And then I wasn't playing any Metallic Rebukes. Metallic Rebuke is definitely a card they could have, so I'll just Golos. Right now, grab Lotus Field number 2, and then I can grab Lotus Fields 3 and 4 with this Ephemerate. Unless, I guess they have the Aether Spellbomb. Oh, they played Saga. I missed that they played Saga. Brutal. Playing Grixis mid-range list for RSQs. Any changes? I would recommend the Shadow variant over the mid-range variant. That list still needs some work. Is my recommendation. I guess I'm going to Ephemerate now, so they can't... Oh, they already played their land. I mean, it doesn't matter. Oh no, we're down a Lotus Field. How will we ever recover? Yeah, Blood Sun removed the Indestructible from Darksteel Citadel, so I was able to destroy it. Kind of a narrow interaction. What's the point if I can't Golos for all of my... No! 9, 10... Oh, wait, sorry, we have exactly enough. I love this deck. This deck is a treat. This deck is a freaking treat. Yeah, some people in the chat might tell you Esper Shadow though, but I wouldn't listen to them. Okay, on the draw, up against an Overgrown Tomb and a Young Wolf. Nice to have Fury against Yawgmoth. Hopefully not going to be too slow. Some Rest in Pieces post-board too. Yeah, definitely looking like Fury's not lining up super well against their particular draw. I think I'm getting a Mountain. Interesting draw. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to Fury, kill Bird, Young Wolf here. I might just get to Fury, kill Yawgmoth next turn. Looks like they're going to Chord for Yawgmoth. So we'll go Blood Sun first. Now, they got Wildfire the Overgrown Tomb to incentivize them to Chord for Yawgmoth now. Although I guess they don't have to. I guess they can just double with Wall. Yeah, they can still do it end of turn. Still try to bait it here. I only have 1 mana floating, so like there's a pretty good chance they just go for it. I'm kind of out of gas, but I have, you know, tons of mana. But they get to draw... They get to draw a ton of cards. What about bounce lands with Blood Sun and Valakut's Awakening? I think that's too many tap lands, and then the problem is like if you ever have to, if your hand is ever like land Lotus Field, bounce land, and you go Flagstones or whatever, you know, your whatever other land, and then you play your bounce land and you can't play your Lotus Field turn 3, it can be kind of awkward. I know you can just play your other land and then maybe Blood Sun, but I think you don't want it. You could play one. Yeah. So one cool thing though about a bounce land that we were considering was the fact that a bounce land can pick up your Valakut Awakening. Maybe that is good enough. Maybe just 1 is fine. I don't know what you would cut for it. It would be like 4th Sacred Foundry, 4th Inspiring Vantage. I don't think you want to cut one of the channel lands. You could cut a channel land though. That might be good. We'll think about it. Deck for Cam. I also thought about Colossus done with his deck. Same with Cobra. Yeah, it's kind of hard to have a ton of lands left in the hand, I thought. Second coolest gift to stack. Resurgent Belief for just Omniscience. Why do we have 3 Resurgent Beliefs? And these are the only enchantments. And how are we casting them? Are we really just suspending that? Oh, we also have Zinigos. Dude, Emrakul plus Resurgent Beliefs is kind of a nombo too. If you're ever shuffling those in. I'm trying to figure out what the gifts pile. This is kind of torture. Actually, this is kind of torture to just be like, alright, Spike, here's a gifts set given deck. Try to figure out all my goofy gifts lines. And I just don't see them. Like, I don't see a way you can gifts to reliably cast Resurgent Belief, right? You can go gifts, you can put Omniscience and Resurgent Belief in the yard. But beyond that, I'm just not seeing it. Okay, opponent's down to 17. They shuffle my Emrakul back in. I have a lot of good top decks here, but nothing currently in hand. Alright. Definitely means I could draw Solitude or Fury for next turn, but... Yeah, I guess I don't even really get the Zinigos either. I just don't get it. Thought is grab Omniscience, Zinigos, spin both. Yeah, but how are you? You're just suspending Resurgent Belief, and then so your goal is to always suspend Belief turn 2, and then curve that into a turn 4 Gifts and Given. But then even like just bending Zinigos doesn't do anything unless you have other cards in hand too. I don't think I'm a believer here. Just don't think I'm a believer. Shardless hits Resurgent? Oh, duh. Okay, why are we only playing Shardless Agent as our only Cascade spell, though? I think that's incorrect. Okay, come on, Solitude. I think it's just Solitude here. Wall of Omens means I don't have enough mana. Wall of Omens just block, though. Well, it's not too bad. We have the Grist to kill the wall. Maybe I should have saved the Ephemerate then. Let's go game 2. Okay, I'm gonna bring in my Rest in Peace, my Prismatic Endings. Yeah, you need to play Vial Outburst. You need to play 8 Cascade spells. I kind of feel like this Zinigos is terrible. And like the one of Emrakul doesn't make a lot of sense to me either, because you just like can't Gifts and Given for it because it gets shuffled back in. So I would cut both of those, and you need another way to get Omniscience in the yard besides Gifts too. I guess you have Shardless Agent. Maybe you should play Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Fable is also an enchantment for the Resurgent Abundance. No, I think you want to be... Ephemerate's way better against Yawgmoth than Chalice, in my experience. I think I'm cutting my Wildfires and 4th Golos. So one awkward thing about this hand is that turn 2 Rest in Peace turns off the Flagstones. I'm just going to keep though. Caster, thank you for the raid. GG's earlier. Welcome to all the Faithless Looters. I think that's 2 days in a row. Yeah, but I think the Gifts is too lost in the sauce. As cool as Gifts is, I would definitely recommend playing Fable. I'd recommend playing okay, maybe I should wait a turn. Yeah, let me just wait a turn. This way I can go Lotus Field to the Flagstones, then play Rest in Peace. And I get got by a Thoughtseize, but they probably would have Thoughtseized over Young Wolf if they had a turn 1. And I can maybe Fury both of those, although I can probably get a little bit more value out of the Fury, especially because I'm able to hardcast it next turn. Yeah, I think the missing piece of the puzzle is Fable the Mirror Breaker. It's an enchantment for Resurgent Belief. It gets your Omniscience in the yard, and then you have Omniscience. You have Fable and Seasoned Pyromancer to discard them. You probably need like something else too. That's maybe not enough by itself, but that's where I would be starting here. Oh boy. I guess I'm just gonna be hard casting some Furies. I think I'm okay if they play a creature minus, they lose it forever because I have Rest in Peace in play. And Gris goes to 1. Maybe the Thoughtseize concede. Would Gris's control deck be viable in today's modern meta? I really have a soft spot for Grixis. I don't think that there's a lot of room for like more traditional Grixis control decks. I've been playing some like more mid-rangey versions, but I think for the most part the blue-white based control decks are better than the blue-black based ones. Yeah, I've tried Resurgent Belief as foretold in the past too. There's definitely like something to it for sure. Can we get Baleful Strix in Modern? I'm just going to start saying yes to that question. Even though asking for Baleful Strix in Modern is just like, I'm a greedy blue-black control player. I'm just the greediest ever. It's not as bad as the blue-white players who want Swords to Plowshares. The blue-white players who want Swords to Plowshares in Modern are the most like ridiculous group of Modern players out there. They're just those are the silliest by a lot. Greed is good. I don't know. Greed is like so unbalanced too, where it's just like I want my pet deck to get like this sicko card that should not be legal at all. Elves players who want Cradle, yeah. Elves players who want Cradle. Elves players who want Glimpse. Give Standstill. Force of Will. I don't know what player wants Force of Will. Not Murktide players. Something darker is there. Something more evil, I think, is craving a Force of Will. Yeah. The sad part about the people who want Green Sun. The sad thing about the people who are asking for Green Sun. You're all innocent. You're all like pure of heart to ask for Green Sun Zenith in Modern. But the reality is, the only people who would play Green Sun Zenith to effect are like. It's just like Titan. Titan like breaks Green Sun in half. You would use it for good, I know. I know that you would play Green Sun Zenith with nothing but noble intentions and purity in your heart, but it would make Titan the best deck immediately. Yeah, I know everybody just wants to grab a Knight of the Reliquary off Green Sun Zenith. Knight of the Reliquary, not quite good enough at 3 mana. Also not good enough at 4 mana. Green Sun Zenith with Elves would be pretty cool. Get Realm Walker, Heritage Druid. Crater Hoof. Top 2 grabs Arbor Titan. I mean, just like the fact that Green Sun Zenith gets you Arbor turn 1, gets you Dryad of the Elysian Grove or Azusa, gets you Grazer against a Ragavan, gets you your Titan, gets you your Cultivator Colossus, and can get you Reclamation Sage post board against Blood Moon, can theoretically get you like Obstinate Baloth if to stabilize for a turn against Burn. Not that Burn's already a really good matchup, but it's like it not only game 1 does it find you Dryad on turn 1, Grazer to block Ragavan turn through, Azusa Dryad, Tracker if you want it, you probably don't want it, Titan Cultivator Colossus. It also finds you Rex Sage against Blood Moon. It's just like what are we doing here? What are we doing here? There's probably also like a goofy card that kills Magus that you could get. Maybe not. Blade Man? I need to do the deck tech thing. If it's a good shot, I can take a look. Okay, we have Fury, Ephemerate, Bloodstone, Lotus Field on the draw against Yawgmoth. What we don't have is a land that survives when we play it. Saw Mulligan. Good hand. Yeah, allowing Dark Depths in Modern is also, I think, a bit goofy. I like that card a lot, though. Ooh, oh man. Prison Palace in 2022. So for those of you who haven't been around for forever like Blade Man has, I used to play a deck like this with Simian Spirit Guide back in the day, and the goal was to just like always power out a War of the Spark Planeswalker on turn on turn 2. So go 1-drop into like 4-drop, or on turn 2, Simian Spirit Guide out like a Dove and Ashok Narset Teferi. I'm kind of feeling the main deck bridge. I kind of just want to cut the endings and play 3 main deck bridge, 1 sideboard bridge. Also, maybe I don't know if the Dovins are... Oh, they're necro-mentioning me. What are they going to choose? Fury? Ephemerate? Blood Sun? Lotus Field? I think all those are fine. Yeah, wear Karth. Yeah, you could play Karth. I've played Karth like a little bit in these archetypes in the past. I think when you play Karth, you really want to play like Liliana and Grist though, because like you stay in the same colors. Those are actually like really good to like get all that extra loyalty. The ultimate really, I guess the ultimate in Grist isn't that good, but I don't know. Maybe Grist is just good. Yeah, then also if you cut the endings from the main to play more bridges, you don't have to sideboard as heavily. Maybe you play ending in the sideboard. I'm not sure exactly what the sideboard plans look like. Okay, they choose Fury. I guess that makes sense. If I get a zombie, I get to Blood Sun them. Turn off the Peatland, turn off fetch lands. Hey, how Blood Sun Judge, Blood Sun Dryad Arbor, tell what happened. Judge, Blood Sun Dryad Arbor, what happened? I think I'm okay to attack here. Pressuring Yawgmoth's life total is pretty relevant. This is making me real nostalgic. This is really just deploy to get me to play the deck again. Yeah, the sideboard's overrated. 1/1 mountain creature. Well, it's not a mountain because of Blood Sun, right? They necromentioned Fury. Blood Sun does nothing to Arbor. A 1/1 that taps for green. Alright, go home, judges. You're all drunk. Go home, judges. You're all drunk. Nothing changes. Okay. Thank you, Judge. Go home. Probably get Grist here. No! Come on! You're gonna hit... Ah! Stupid Grist. Stupid Grist. Chump block my zombie token instead of trading is interesting. They probably have Court of Calling. Does this line ever mean anything besides Court of Calling? I don't think so. So I think what I'm going to do is they're going to plus the Grist, and then I'm going to Solitude Ephemerate both of these in response. And I'll just hit a second Grist anyways. Oh no, this doesn't make sense. Hold on. Oh, I even stacked the triggers wrong. Sorry, this doesn't make sense because they could just still Court for Yawgmoth in response. I thought they were 1 less mana. But they didn't get punished, they don't have anything. They mill over a Strangleroot Geist this time, not an insect. They just have Yawgmoth in hands. They also have a Young Wolf. Makeshift 25 months, but seriously, Dark Depths is a completely safe unban. I don't know, dude. That card's really, really powerful. It's really annoying. There's plenty of cards that stop it, but there's also plenty of decks that just like have no answer to the uncounterable 2020. It's just like, I think a pretty, I hate to use this word, but I think it's a pretty unfun thing to let be legal. Alright, I'll stack my triggers correctly this time. Like, I don't think that Modern is in need of more, like, super difficult game-ending 2-card combos, you know? They're super difficult to interact with game-ending 2-card combos. Can you flash in Solitude to hit Rebound Ephemerate? No, you can't. Because the Evoke trigger will go on the stack before the Ephemerate resolves. I would have liked to keep that Nahiri. Two birds, 1 card in hand. Good for us, they can't sack the Peatlands. Bad for us if their last card is Yawgmoth again. I think they're trying to sack Peatland, maybe? No, Evolution, Bird. I don't know what this is getting. Into Messenger, okay. And they minus Grist, sack Messenger, kill Solitude. Okay. Well, then I can zombie, kill the bird, ephemerate the wall. Okay, now I'll just ending the bird, kill the Grist. And then it's kind of a weird decision on this Valakut Awakening to just cycle it this turn or wait. Messenger is pretty good attacker here. Yeah, I think I'm under enough pressure to just cycle it. I don't know. We'll see what they play for turn. Maybe if they play nothing. They could have cord though for 2, for 3. I said they cord, they would have corded for 4. Punished maybe? Although I would have drawn Lotus Field and not really wanted to have cycled it. I just chump block this turn. It's probably okay. Thought to play to land to cast Fury Solitude. Yeah, maybe holding it so I can just go land Fury Solitude. Ender's untapped, so it would have been okay to hold it, not just play it out. Yeah, if only we were the lucky deck to randomly get to play Gigantha. Okay, a lot of good draws to here. That's counts. Oh yeah, Fury gets Fury is Gonzo, I forgot. Golos is the perfect size to block your drops Messenger, and we can start spinning next turn. Maybe spin twice next turn. We have 9, 10, 10, 13 mana, costs 7 to spin. So if we find a land, which we're really likely to because we're spinning, we get to spin twice. Yeah, opponent's playing a good old zombie deck. 2 cards in their hands. Really need to untap here. They're tapping. They tapped weird. They took max damage from the Yawgmoth. Don't know what this means. I'm gonna chump block with the wall so my Golos lives though. Then the 9 or 8. Wait, what happened? Oh, sorry. It looked like they sacked to Yawgmoth. Okay, the block happened. Oh, okay. Interesting draw. The line is definitely floats. Sultai colors, and then spin this. I might just Prismatic Ending the Yawg instead of spinning again. Yeah, maybe I stepped backwards, but it looked like they had activated Yawgmoth again instead of the Blood Artist just triggering. But I guess it was because I was yielded to the Blood Artist, was why it looked like that. Okay, this is perfect, I guess. We need to go Solitude, exile Yawgmoth, Nahiri, exile Messenger, then spin Golos again. Golos has an ability. I mean, you weirdly enough, you play it largely, or you wouldn't play it without the ability. like Golos just like dumping through your deck is like kind of this deck's like game plan. They cycle the Blood Artist, which I think is good for me. Reset the Messenger, put me down to 5. Yawgmoth gone. I guess I'll just spin again. Is it 8 to spin? No, it's 7. It's Wooburg 2. I guess I should play my land first. Okay, they're gonna proliferate. Killed by Solitude. Do I want to hold the Prismatic Ending? I probably do. It's probably fine. Alright, 2 cards in their hand on the 5. Gonna hold this back to block Stranglegeist. We have 10, 11. Yeah, we have 15 mana next turn if we play the Vantage, which does enter untapped because of Blood Sun. To hardcast an Emrakul if we draw it. That was a really good spin. Second spin wasn't quite as good, but that first one was nuts. Yeah, we've hardcast 2 Emrakuls today. Is that right? 2 Emrakuls today. It's like a Court of Calling for 3 for Grist, which is fine. So I'm gonna start off by plussing Nahiri so I can hardcast an Emrakul if I draw it. Obviously, a normal modern turn. Incredibly unlucky. Resigned to just spinning forever and ever. Okay, so I'll probably play second Golos post-combat now. Oh, ho, here he comes. Or she comes. Watch out, Potent. It's Emrakul. I don't think we trophied with this deck last week, but been having a lot of fun with it. We have Wildfire Flagstones. We have Double Ending. I'm gonna mulligan though. And then I'll probably just put back basic planes. I guess keep planes if they're a Blood Moon deck, because I'm just gonna play this as a land almost guaranteed. So maybe planes is better in play, and this could still be the deck to draw later. I guess that's better. Can we get a 5-0 deck going? We usually do 5-0 Gambas after round 4. Pretty sure your player should have sacrificed Artist to Messenger and hope for 1-drop to go for the kill. I mean, it has to be... Oh, does any 1-drop kill me? Then yeah, probably. I think it does. But it says they're playing Golgari Food, which is probably a good matchup. I'm kind of down to try a Boros Garrison for next league. I think over the 4th Inspiring Vantage. The idea, the ability for Golos to get Garrison and pick up your Valakut Awakening is really sweet. Obviously, there's untapped with Blood Sun is kind of nice. It's like 5th Lotus Field, maybe. Putting it very generously. Okay, good draw. So the planes in hands, I'll probably just grab Mountain. Ooh. So they're on a bunch of Urza Sagas, so Blood Sun should be pretty good. I think Blood Sun does not beat Urborg. That's a bit weird. There's Trail of Crumbs. Activate Trail of Crumbs. Here you can exile Trail of Crumbs, which is kind of nice. What about timestamps? I'm very confident that Urborg does not get turned off by Blood Sun. We've had this ruling come up a bunch because we're always getting into these kind of shenanigans on stream. And yeah, let me actually just Wall of Omens and probably double Ephemerate this turn. Is playing Giganta in a Legacy deck worthwhile? Yes, any deck that gets to play Giganta with the only cost of the 15th sideboard card is correct to do so. Or at least I've yet to see an exception to that rule. Okay, so they're going to get to Cookbook. I'm kind of hoping that they Trail of Crumbs. Let me do this before they have 2 food tokens. I think this is the double Masters Ephemerate art. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, that's a nice pickup. So they are Trail of Crumbsing, which is kind of nice because now they are unlikely to have 2 foods to kill my wall, and I'll just get to... Okay, now they have 2 foods. So I think my opponent might upkeep response to rebound, kill my Asmo, or kill my wall, and I'll probably just Ephemerate in response. Or they don't, which is fine with me as well. I think I'm probably okay playing this one a bit slower. Just go like Wildfire my Cataracts here, see what we draw, then maybe just like jam Blood Sun and let them have Asmo and play for a turn. If I draw a red card, maybe I'll pitch Ephemerate. Yeah, I did draw a red card. Yeah, it's probably too good to not go. Fury, kill Asmo, 1 damage here. Then Ephemerate, kill the geese. Then Prismatic Ending, the Trail of Crumbs, or the Cookbook. Gotta stack my triggers right. I've been struggling with that lately. These are $30, jeez. Okay, they're targeting the Fury now, which doesn't really make any sense because they don't get Trail of Crumbs triggers, and the Evoke trigger is still on the stack. Okay, am I killing Trail of Crumbs or am I killing Cookbook? I'm probably going to kill the Cookbook. I know they have Daredevil in their hand. Turns off another Asmo too. Maybe close. Pretty good turn. What opponent kill the Fury response to Ephemerate? No, because the 4 damage from Fury resolves before the Evoke trigger, so if they let the 4 damage resolve, Asmo is dead, and then I'm safe to Ephemerate, and if they don't let the 4 damage resolve by responding, then I can respond to their 6 damage with the Ephemerate. Okay, pretty good draws. Go Blood Sun, Lotus Field. I think I'm attacking. I think my opponent's going to chump block. They don't chump block. So I guess I'm plussing. Ooh, that's a good one. Remember that Golos makes Sokenzan on channel for 3. Could obviously have minus on the trail. I don't think I need to. They didn't have any more food generators last turn. Obviously, if they can kill the wall, then they kill Nahiri too. Oh, it's available in Etch. I love... Okay. I think... Am I the only one that likes Etch foils more than regular foils? I think Etch foils look so good. I think Etch foils look so good. I really, really like them. But for the most part, it seems like the general Magic community, like, vastly prefers... regular foils. I think that's everyone. Okay. I don't know. Like, I remember for Modern Horizons 2, all the Etch foilers were, like, much cheaper than regular foils, too. I've never seen sack Daredevil to Oven replay Daredevil. It's cool. I think I'm still going to Blast, just trying to ultimate this next turn. Although... I guess I'm a little short of activating Golos here. Because I have to filter mana into Cataracts, which is -1 mana at 7 activated, so I'm down a little bit. It's okay though. I think we'll be fine. MTGO foils are different than Double Master's Etch. All the Etch foils don't curl. Yeah, that is true. Etch foils don't curl as much from what I gather. Rock 17 months, thank you. Yeah. Not a lot of people like, or a lot of people don't like foils too. I don't own too many foils. I own some. My ancient copper dragon that I was really excited for is pack foil, and it is the most curled card I've ever owned. It is so absurdly curled. I think it's because I live in Texas. Like, I think that like one of the manufacturing plants for the cards is in Texas, and so it's like theoretically around the same level of humidity. So, like, usually my cards don't curl that much in my experience, but my dragon is a Pringle. It's so bad. And it stinks because I now need to, like, deal with that before I build my commander deck. I just wanna play with my dragon. That's so much to ask. Do you foils curl more in humidity? I'm not sure what the details are. You know, this is not usually my area of care, but maybe it needs to be. Make 3 cuts. Can probably cut the 4th Golos, 3rd Fury, 3rd Wall. Why is it bloodshed so off Urborg? I don't really know. I just know it doesn't. Flatten the book. Make sure you put a Silka packet with your deck box. Yeah, I'll look into it. I need to get around to it. I'm gonna get some water too. Be right back. Okay, mulligan. Keep this on 6, put back Emrakul. But it's also on a mull to 6. Blessed does not turn off Tron now. I'm gonna play my first Awakening here. Hey Tashi, how's it going? Good to see ya. Okay, there's a Trail of Crumbs. I didn't leave up my white mana. Oh, my opponent kept it 1-lander. So let me just go tear the trail so they can't sack the food and try to find lands. Feels kind of mean. Got back from Arizona. It's worse than Dallas. Well, when you were in Dallas, we had the best weather that we've had like all summer. It's been like, Arizona's definitely worse than Dallas still, but you guys came on a really good weekend. The weather was really good, like specifically that weekend. But yeah, still nearly not as bad as Arizona. I don't know. It was kind of crazy to go, I think, but I hope it was fun. Okay, well, the Wear Tear / Awakening. If I cast Awakening, I'm probably putting back Cataract Solitude. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do anything yet. They can have a couple Cat Oven triggers. Wondering what I would say my top 3 to 5 brews. I mean, you should know this, Fran, that I hate to like come up with top 3, 5 lists on the format. I also kind of am over trying to like take credit or I don't know, any kind of bragging or anything. I just want to play the decks, you know? Just want to play the decks. Leave me alone. I'm just playing my decks. Get out of here. I've burned my resume. Every day is a new day. Fresh slate. Slate. Okay, you pass back here. Sorry, I'm opening a can of coffee. That was not a fart, I promise. But if it was, I would also have nothing to apologize for. I don't think I'm going to Solitude Ephemerate yet. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna sack the Flagstones because I don't want to draw a second one because their Rest in Peace and Legend rolls awkward. We're fine. Opponent's deck is really neutered by the Rest in Peace. We're super duper ahead. Opponent main phase discards Urborg to Cookbook to get a Asmo. Is there a modern deck I'd recommend to people who have experience in Magic but kind of new to Modern? So this is something I get asked a lot, and my answer is basically always exactly the same. Where I think that whenever someone gets into a new format, they're very often like nervous to make a lot of mistakes and have their inexperience show, and they want to play an easier deck and they want to play a deck that's safer. And I recommend against that usually. I usually recommend instead of doing that, finding a deck that you think is like really interesting and cool, and then just playing it, just picking up and playing it, and like with the knowledge that no matter what you choose to play, you're going to be making a lot of mistakes. So might as well play something that you think is cool. And the process, I think I'm again not going to Solitude. The process of choosing a modern deck is like really fun and like really personal, and you know, there's a lot of like self-expression and identity when it comes to deck selection in modern. That's really fun. And I would hate to deprive you of that process by saying, play bird, play prowess, which is what most people will tell you. What's my favorite beer? Shared with friends. Okay, so now I'll probably Solitude Ephemerate. I think I need to keep Wear Tear in hand for a Trail of Crumbs. That's definitely like the card I see myself losing to. Another thing to me is that even on a budget deck, modern decks are not cheap. Should be something you want to play. Yeah, absolutely. And it is definitely the case that when you're first starting off, like, do not just go buy a modern deck. Do not just go like buy a modern deck. Well, maybe I shouldn't Ephemerate here. Because obviously, I was thinking if I Ephemerate the Solitude. Oh, no. So we just stack like this, and they either kill the Solitude, let me gain 6, or I save the Ephemerate for Golos. Right, okay. Yeah, do not just go buy a modern deck that you think is cool, proxy it, play test it on Magic Online with a rental service, goldfish it, and like a website where you can goldfish it. I can't remember what I used to use. I used to use Cockatrice, I think. So this would be a spot where I'd get the Boros Garrison. I think we're going to add that for next league. Yeah, you make a friend, borrow a deck, borrow some cards. Do not just go, you know... You know, this is maybe the wrong person to say this, but I think in life there's usually better things to spend money on than Magic cards. There's a way to do these things on a budget, do it more cheaply, friendly. I would recommend finding a way to spend as little money possible playing Magic. Usually my recommendation. Yeah, I'm discard second Golos here, I think. Why didn't I Ephemerate? I didn't have an untapped mana to Ephemerate, did I? If I did, you can cancel me and write an angry comment on Twitter. But if I did, or if I did not, you have to apologize on Twitter. I think that's only fair. I do Ephemerate main phase because I didn't have another white mana there. Oh, Ephemerate the Solitude. I don't know, I totally meant to. We even talked about it. Yeah, that makes more sense. I'll be doing the apologizing today, chat. I'll be doing the apologizing today. I totally meant to, I don't know what happened. Why Vantage, not another field? Because, I mean, I have to sack 2 lands with Lotus Field. I'd rather like Lotus Field when I have a Blood Sun in play. Dude, this Golgari food deck does not seem like it to me. Although maybe I just have a really good matchup. That's the Wayne Charleston ones. I think Ephemerate's really good in the matchup. I think it's better to be on that, but you could probably make a argument the other way. Although, I guess Emrakul kind of sucks here. I guess Emrakul kind of sucks on this board. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to attack with both of the Spirit tokens either. I was thinking I need to pressure their life total. Now they can hit the Nahiri for one more. They just have enough foods to sack to the Emrakul, and then they can take the hit. Yeah, a lot of all land Emrakul spends. Maybe my opponent's also just drawing horribly. Yeah, I've been liking Jeskai Lotus Field too. I think the main deck chalices are fine. I think that the reason to play the Boros list is like you actually get to play a good Ephemerate variant though, which is powerful. And then you sideboard the chalices. Definitely a conversation. Oh, they didn't attack the Nahiri. Okay, so I guess I spin Golos first. Do I even bother Emrakuling them? It's really not that good. It's not bad. I'd much rather just hit it off Golos right now. Blood Sun, Ephemerates. Okay, so now... Okay, so this is what we'll do. We'll go Blood Sun... Oh, I should have ultimate first. But I'll throw an Emrakul at my opponent, and then it'll go back to my hand, end of turn. It'll go back to my hand, end of turn, and then I can Ephemerate the Golos, and I'll be able to hardcast it really quickly. They are going to be able to like tank this Emrakul hit without too much difficulty because they have all these food tokens and stuff. You can't Ephemerate Emrakul as protection from colored spells. They're dead 17 life. No, they have all these food tokens to sack, and they can gain 6. Although they... they sacked a bunch of food tokens. Oh, they chump block. They just chump block Emrakul. Yeah, the rest of the piece is just so hard for them to beat, I guess. And then we also, like, ate their Trail of Crumbs. Oh, yeah, dude, their draw was also, like... Their draw was so bad, because they... they kept a one-lander, then they drew nothing but lands after that. It's actually kind of nuts. Okay, so I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12... I'll be able to hardcast Emrakul in 2 turns. So I think I probably just don't play this castle, because it doesn't... I guess... If I play it, if I draw Lotus Field, I can maybe cast Emrakul. Probably doesn't matter at all. Oh, did I tap a mana for the Ephemerate? Oh, let me pick up that Boros Garrison before I forget. Maybe I can get like a nice double Master's art or something. Alright, do I have 2 tickets? I have 6 tickets. We're getting the promo, baby. We're getting the promo. I can also maybe fix my mismatched planes too. I thought I had 2 of the Lightning Bolt planes. Won the die roll for the trophy match. No lands, mulligan. Keeping this, putting back Second Fury pretty easily. Cutting lands. Well, we cut a land to add a land. We added a bounce land, Fran. You should like that. Eiganjo goes Turok to 5/4. No, Turok's usually a 4/3s. Yeah. You're growing to 5/4. Yeah, you're right. But that's fine. 5/4 is fine. Gonna cycle this, try to find untapped land for Blood Sun next turn. Blood Sun's pretty good against creativity, turning off the the red land, but obviously they have tokens in play, so that might not be enough. What's this next matchup against Murktide? I think not favorable. It gets a lot better plus board when you bring in 4 Chalice. It's a bit weird. 22 lands. This is a 26 land deck because we have the Valakut Awakenings. Blood Sun, you're going to resolve. It's too soon. Too soon to get spell pierced. Ooh, Fury Ephemerate can take care of an Archon. I can also go next turn Golos plus Ephemerate. Oh, his overall record yesterday on Thrusta? I don't know. It was okay. Less good than good. Better than bad. I don't know exactly how to quantify it. Okay. They don't have a clue token in play anymore. Ooh, second Golos is really nice. I kind of feel like the best line this turn is to Fury the Goblin token, hold up Ephemerate in case they have a polymorph. I'm kind of thinking, so like where I want to go next, and I'm kind of wanting to take a little bit of a break from the archetype because, you know, I played it for 2 streams in a row. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe the deck is better if you play 2 Underworld Breach, 1 Throsta. I'm not sure. But like I think one thing, if you watched stream yesterday, we could like walk away saying is that what I really liked about that deck was the fact that you got to play a really, really low land count in a prowess deck because of Abundant Harvest. I guess we have 2 Golos, so I'll just kill the crab. You got to play a really, really low land count because of Abundant Harvest, which is something I think you're really incentivized to be able to do in the Prowess archetype in the first place. Let me see what we draw. But it's possible that Underworld Breach is just like the better payoff, you know? Oh, Ice my Lotus Field, that's really good. We get to attack them for 6, but if they have a polymorph effect, they can polymorph their Fable. Then we're going to be in kind of bad shape. I found you need 3 or 4 lands to go off. Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. But I think with the 4 Harvest, it may still be fine. But maybe do something like 1 Breach, 2 Throsta, something like that. I'm just not really sure. I'm trying to figure it out. Indulgence. So maybe they're playing the Persist variant. They probably are. But they don't have Persist in hand yet. Yeah, but then if you're playing 2 Breach, 1 Throsta, it's like you're 1 card in the deck away from Giganta, which is kind of frustrating too. When I started playing Magic, during Return to Ravnica block, so I've been playing for about 10 years now. I was 18. Interesting draw. No breaks. I don't think I've ever taken any extended breaks from Magic, no. There's definitely been times when I've played more Magic than I do now, but I've always played at least one format to some extent. Them getting to untap with Reflection is really scary. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. Yeah, I mean if they get to Archon, they're going to discard both of my cards in hand, so I should just play the Cataracts. Trying to think. So when I started, I was just a standard player, like most players who started, especially in that time era. I played almost exclusively green-white decks in that standard, like aggro, mid-range, Archangel, Thune aggro. It's really, really fun. Ooh, that's bad for me. And then I was also getting like really into Limited back in Dragon's Maze. I really, really like Dragon's Maze Gatecrash. How do they not have a Persister? Creativity. Okay, there we go. Shouldn't have said anything. I really liked that limited format, and then Theros came out, and I really didn't like Theros RTR Standard. I thought it got pretty boring pretty quickly. And so I ended up kind of transitioning to Limited / EDH. I built a Lazav EDH deck. I played a lot of Limited at the time. Tough game. That ice was really, really good. Let me bring in the Rest in Peace. Rest in Pieces. Then we're cutting all the Furies. Chalice? Probably not. What would an Emrakul? It's pretty fine. So it's like EDH Unlimited for a long time, and I think I was getting like really into. I got into Legacy before I got into Modern. Me and my friends would just like proxy Legacy, play it constantly. Eventually got real Legacy decks, and then I got like a bit more seriously into EDH, and I was also like dipping my toes into Modern at the time, and then My first I played some competitive standard tournaments back at RTR Innistrad Standard. I took a break from any kind of competitive tournament until Caleb D put together that Grixis Delver deck. Made a Channel Fireball video with it. I took the list. I loved it. It took me like months and months to get the deck together. It's really hard, really hard to get it all together back then. But I did, and I took it to my very first PPTQ, not even really knowing what a PPTQ was. I won my very first PPTQ. And then like 2 weeks later, there was a GP in Oklahoma City that I decided I didn't even know about till like that Friday night at FNM. People were asking me, "Oh, I thought you'd be going." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know it existed." And then I got up at like 3 or 4 a.m., drove to Oklahoma City. I ended up losing my winning into top 8 of that event. So it was a really, really, really fun event. And then I was really into Modern and Legacy for a long time. I built Twin, they banned Twin. I built Miracles, they banned Top. And then I was just like mostly like grinding the PPTQ, RPTQ circuits, so whatever format that was at the time, Standard, Modern, Sealed. Then that system went away when I was really close to being silver / maybe gold if I had a good like next PT. And now I'm Aspiring Spike. Do you even play Rip here? I think now that they took the Blood Sun, I'm just gonna play Flagstones. The next turn I'm gonna float 2 mana, play Lotus Field, then play Rip. That'll give me enough mana for the Nahiri the following turn. Yeah, my first GPLS went in for top 8. I thought I was gonna be able to draw in, but my break so 4 of the players who were X and 2 could draw in, and 4 of them weren't. And unfortunately, I was one of the ones that couldn't. I was really ahead against Andrew Slaughter, who was on Elves. I had Is Static Caster in play, Mana Leak up, then he goes Cavern of Souls, Sylvan Messenger, Reveal Chameleon Colossus, and I lost. I lost so hard to the Colossus. It was brutal. And then, yeah, so I was on the Team Pro Tour. We ended up losing our very last round of that event. I ended up losing... I've told this story. It's been a long time since I have, but this is, like, so crucial to my origin story. Where it's the Team Pro Tour. We're losing I'm playing our last round for top 8. Top 8 doesn't qualify you for the Sunday portion, so it would have been our last round no matter what. We weren't going to, like, have a chance to win the tournament or anything. But winning that last round would have been... I would have been immediately silver, I think. Definitely immediately silver. I don't think gold. But it would have given me another paid for Pro Tour invite, which would have been just huge for me to like have another paid for invite where they pay for your flights and everything. I'm playing Ad Nauseam Tendrils and Legacy. My opponent is playing Merfolk. This is before Force of Negation was printed, and I could combo. I had enough mana to pay for days while I was storm comboing, and my opponent had 1 card in hand, didn't have 5 mana to hardcast Force of Will. I had enough mana to pay for days. So I was and then my opponent's 1 draw step for turn. The 1 card was not Force of Will, it was not days, it was Vendilion Click. There won a Vendilion Click in the 75. Which was good enough to stop me from comboing, and I ended up losing a game I really thought I was going to win. I don't top 8 the PT. I don't immediately become silver, but I'm. It's the start of the pro season though. I'm 2 points away from silver now, and I have like 9 months to get 2 pro points, which is a silver invite, which is another Pro Tour invite. So. Pretty easy at that point to just go grind some GPs for a little bit and then get those 2 pro points you need to 2 points those 2 pro points I would need to get silver, and then if I have a good or like even medium run at that silver Pro Tour, I would be gold. And gold invite is huge. Huge. It's really important to make gold back then in order to stay on the circuit in the first place. But then, like right as soon as I'm in this position, is right when they announce the changes to pro play. That's when they announce that they are getting away with the point system, the gold, silver, whatever tier system, and That's kind of when I made the critical choice to either start becoming a streamer or find a different hobby, find a different passion, and it took me like a year or so to start streaming after that point, but that was really kind of the deciding point. Oh, I probably should have discarded Lotus Field so I could go 5-drop Ephemerate. Play around Thoughtseize. Solitude, Nahiri. Bummer. Alright, 4-1, Crash and Burn. Definitely a fun league though. Let's run it back with the Boros Garrison now. I think the Garrison's good. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I like it. Playing the first Garrison over the White Channel Land. Garrison, kind of like a worse 5th Lotus Field, but what I really like about the wrong Boros deck. What I really like about the Garrison is the ability to, if you have Valakut Awakening in play, someone in chat suggested this, but you can get the Garrison, pick up your Valakut Awakening, and then cast it if you're flooded. I think that's pretty cool. Was there something wrong about the list? Oh, there's not the 4th Vantage in there. Okay, so let's pay that up.